I got a question today about how do you control overtrading and what time frames do I use intraday. So, got a few ways to look at this. The first way is in terms of overtrading. I think some people are going to be more prone to it than others, but a general, thought on that is when you're trading really well, there's a tendency to think you can trade every price. So you're bullish, but you're sneaking in and capturing money on the downside before you're getting long, and you think that you can do that because you're seeing the market well. Eventually what happens is you start participating in subpar setups and you start eroding what you're doing. And eventually that catches up with you and it puts you into a slump, or you get kind of lost and you forget why you were succeeding in the first place. So I would warn against thinking you can trade every price because you've had success in the past, and really stick to the things that got you there in the process. If you're feeling like you're in that state, maybe it's time to take a day off or to just cut your size for no other reason than your head isn't totally screwed on and you have a little bit of euphoria or that kind of emotion in yourself. So it's an awareness thing. But generally speaking, I have a few stories, shared experiences on that. So many years ago during August, it was a really slow summer, and the guy I sat next to and I noticed that everyone was struggling around the office. There wasn't that many trades to do. We maybe got like one trade a day, which isn't that many opportunities given how much is going on in a busy market. So we actually watched some HBO series. We had Deadwood and some other ones, and it sounds ridiculous to be watching a TV series when you're supposed to be working, but honestly, it saved us a lot of money because we would put price alerts in and we'd only trade when certain things would happen, and it would pull us away from the TV series into the market, and we'd do things and we'd had some success. And it wasn't huge success because the market was not very good during those summer months, but we were staying out of trouble and having a blast during the day, and we're not overtrading. And that really kind of hit me as to how this works. The market is busy when it decides to be, and you participate and enjoy that. You can't force it on when it's going to be busy. So that's another way you can prevent overtrading, but also recognize what the market's doing. And it also plays into monetary goals, where I think monetary goals don't always make a lot of sense because you don't know what the market's going to do. In a busy market, you're going to have a lot more success because you're going to have more opportunities and more chances to learn and grow faster and see the same setups and learn from them. When it's slow, you're just not going to have as many. So thinking that you're judging yourself based on beating what you did last year doesn't make a whole lot of sense. You need to judge yourself on the process, following your rules, setting up trades with a good risk to reward, getting out when you're wrong. All that stuff is the process, and that's where the focus needs to be, not on goals that you can't live up to because the market's fast or it's slow or whatever. So back to the original question, how do you not overtrade? Another answer to that would be productive distractions. So I never had luck with reading books during the day when I was watching the market. I had luck with research on the internet, other projects. Price alerts was really good. I would even do exercise sometimes around my screen, and then I'd have price alerts that would pull me back in when the market did a certain thing, or I was waiting for a certain catalyst, and then I would look more, I would focus more, or I'd wait for a big move to happen, and then I would play the reaction. And this usually came after extreme measures of me overtrading and thinking that if it's whipping around, I have to be in there. So I started doing these things, and they really helped me dial in and just wait for stuff instead of having to be in there every day. These days, I'm not day trading as much, so I'm looking at longer terms where I'm holding for weeks and months. And when you're doing that, it's a little easier to be patient, but you also feel like going from day trading to that, you feel like you're not doing anything. So you want to be more active than you need to be. And the answer always comes down to the fact that less activity usually means better results. And once in a while you have bursts of activity, and that's fine. But understanding that your stuff doesn't show up all the time, and when you think it does, then it might not be. You might just happen to have had a good streak, and it might be that there was a bunch of stuff that you liked that current day or that week, but don't get sucked into that too much. So think about what you can do that's productive and still not miss the market. That would be my best answer to that question. And like anything else, painful experiences and awareness that it's a struggle for you is the best way out of it, is just to know that that's a trigger. And sometimes you need a day off. Or after you come back from a vacation, do you ever notice that you don't really care if you miss the market and you don't really care if you miss moves? And that's the attitude you want to have, because you only trade when it looks really good. So getting into that mindset is always the best way to be. And then in terms of my time frame when I was moving around during the day, for me, I used to look at like 2-minute charts, 5-minute charts, and then 60-minute charts. I would look at daily charts and weekly charts at the beginning of the day to kind of get an idea of where we are on the really big picture, and just to kind of have context. I also like looking at spread charts, which is just one instrument relative to another, because I really want to know, is something cheap or expensive versus something else that's similar, like European equities versus U.S. equities, or oil versus gold, or German bonds versus U.S. bonds, or whatever's driving us. I would like to know the spread relationships. Are they normal? Are they stretched? Are they cheap? So that's stuff that I would keep an eye on each day as well. And then the key stocks that might move the index. But my time frame, was usually 2 to 5 minutes. But there's sometimes trades where it's setting up on the 60-minute, but I'm executing on the 2 or the 5-minute. And I think a bigger move is coming on the 60. So I'm kind of aware of that context. That would be how I would look at that. These days, my time frame is more like 60-minute charts at the minimum to dailies and weeklies and things like that, and looking at stuff from a little bit bigger picture with the same mentality, though, that I did during the day.